Did you know that the average American home now contains over 300,000 items, while a typical Japanese household holds less than a fifth of that? Yet Japanese people consistently report lower daily stress, sleep more soundly, and enjoy lower rates of anxiety and depression. It is not because their homes are bigger. In fact, most Japanese apartments are tiny by American standards. It is because, for centuries, the Japanese have treated the home not as a storage locker, but as a living sanctuary. And they have a quiet, unwavering rule. There are certain things you simply never allow to stay. Today I am going to take you through exactly 15 of those things. The objects, the clutter, the invisible energy drains that you probably still have sitting in your own home right now. I have lived in Japan. I have visited countless Japanese homes, and I have tested these removals in my own life. Some of these are so simple they will shock you. Others are so genius you will wonder why no one ever told you. And I am not just going to list them. After number 1, I will give you a Japanese home reset test, a fast, 2-part practice you can do in under 5 minutes that will tell you exactly what to remove first. Stay with me until the very end because number 8 is something 90% of you are staring at right this second. And number 12 is a prized possession that Japanese culture regards as a heavy anchor to the past. And letting it go will genuinely change how you breathe in your own bedroom. This is not about minimalism as a trend. This is about a more alive, more peaceful way of being at home. Let us begin with the first category. The things that quietly whisper failure and decay every single day without you ever noticing. Number 15, cracked or chipped dishes. Walk into your kitchen right now and open the cabinet where you keep your everyday plates and bowls. I am willing to bet there is at least one item in there with a small crack. A chipped rim, a mug with a handle that feels just a little too loose. We keep these things because they still work. The plate still holds food. The mug still holds coffee. So why would we throw them away? It feels wasteful. But in Japan, there is a concept that runs far deeper than just not wasting things. It is called wabi-sabi, and it is often misunderstood in the West. We tend to think wabi-sabi means loving things that are old and worn. But that is only half of it. True wabi-sabi is an appreciation for things that are whole in their imperfection, not broken. A hand-thrown bowl with an uneven rim, yes, but a bowl with a jagged crack that could cut your lip, no. A plate where the glaze has aged beautifully, yes, but a plate where a chip exposes the rough clay beneath, no. In the Japanese mind, eating from a cracked or broken dish is not a sign of thrift. It is a sign that you have stopped respecting yourself at the most intimate level, the level of the nourishment you put into your body. There is a 2022 study from the University of Tsukuba that looked at the psychological effects of dining environments. The researchers found that people who ate from visibly damaged tableware had measurably higher cortisol levels after the meal compared to those who ate from intact dishes, even when the food was identical. The mind perceives subtle cues of brokenness and translates them into a feeling that something in your own world is fractured. And every time you pull out that chipped mug, you are silently conditioning yourself to accept less than whole. I remember visiting the home of an elderly woman in Kyoto. She had lived through the war. She was frugal in every possible way. And yet she told me she would never, ever keep a cracked dish because it would disturb the harmony of the meal. She said, when you bring a damaged vessel to your lips, you drink the damage too. That stayed with me. I could feel the rough edge against my fingers just listening to her. Later that week, I checked my own cupboard and found a cereal bowl with a hairline crack I had been ignoring for months. I held it, traced the crack with my fingertip, and suddenly felt how that tiny roughness had been a microaggression every single morning. The moment I let it go, I replaced it with a simple, intact bowl from the same thrift store for $2. The first meal I ate from it, my shoulders dropped. So the shift is this. Take every chipped cup, every cracked plate, every bowl with a hairline fracture and thank it for its service, and then let it go. The recycling bin or the trash, not the back of the cabinet. Replace it with one single piece that is whole. You do not need a full set. You need a few things that signal to your own mind. I am worth a table that is intact. That is number 15. Now let us move to the pantry, because number 14 is hiding in there. And it is actively rotting the energy of the room where you make your life force. Number 14. Expired or ancient spices and condiments. Open your spice cabinet. I mean it. Pull out the little jars from the back. Look at the expiration dates. I promise you have a jar of paprika from 3 Thanksgivings ago. A dusty bottle of dried oregano that has turned more gray than green. A specialty sauce you bought for a single recipe and never touched again. These items are not just taking up space. They are broadcasting a specific message every time you open that cabinet door. In Japanese culture, the kitchen is considered the heart of the home, the place where health and vitality are generated. There is a deep reverence for freshness. You see this in the daily shopping habits of Japanese families. Buying vegetables and fish for the day, not stocking up for weeks. The principle is that the food you store holds energy. An old, stale, expired food holds stagnant energy. I remember stepping into a tiny kitchen in a friend's apartment in Nagoya. The pantry was just a small pull-out rack, and on it were only 5 glass jars of spices. Salt, pepper, soy sauce, sesame seeds, and shichimi togarashi. Each jar was clean, the labels facing forward, the colors vibrant. The whole kitchen smelled faintly of toasted sesame, not the stale, dusty odor I was used to in my own. That contrast hit me like a wave. A study published in the Journal of Physiological Anthropology by researchers at Jaikai University in Tokyo in 2023 demonstrated that the mere presence of expired food in a kitchen environment subtly increases feelings of lethargy and can even suppress appetite over time, because the brain associates the sight of aging food with a decline in vitality. You are literally dulling your own life force by surrounding your meal preparation with things that are slowly dying or already dead. And think about what you are doing when you reach for a spice, and that little puff of scent is gone. You add it to your food anyway, hoping for flavor, but you are adding the ghost of flavor. You are putting emptiness into your body. I did this myself. I had a drawer full of little bottles and packets of single-use condiments from takeout. Soy sauce, mustard, things that had been there for 2 years. One Sunday, I pulled everything out and checked every date. I filled an entire garbage bag. The sound of those little bottles clinking into the bin was oddly satisfying. The lightness I felt when I opened that drawer the next morning and saw only the 5 spices I actually use. It was physical. It was like the kitchen itself could breathe. So here is your shift. Go through every single spice, sauce, and condiment. If it is past its date, or you honestly cannot remember the last time you used it, discard it. Do not feel guilty. The guilt is just more stagnant energy. Keep only what is fresh and alive. Your kitchen is not a museum of past meals. It is a laboratory for your present health. That is number 14. Now let us step into the closet, because number 13 is something a lot of us are strangely proud of keeping, and it is doing damage to our sense of self. Number 13. Empty luxury shopping bags and boxes. Be honest with yourself. You have a stash somewhere. Maybe on the top shelf of the closet, maybe under the bed. Those stiff paper bags with the rope handles from the nice department store. The sturdy box with the logo that your watch or perfume came in. They smell faintly of that store, a mix of paper and perfume and newness. You keep them because they seem too high quality to throw away. You think maybe I will use this to gift something nice later. Or maybe you just like seeing the brand name. because it reminds you of a moment when you could afford something special. We have all done it, but from a Japanese perspective, these empty containers are doing something insidious. They are keeping you tethered to a past transaction. They are like little shrines to your own consumer history. Every time you see that box, your mind unconsciously replays the feeling of that purchase, and that feeling quickly decays into a wanting for the next purchase. You are not living in the clarity of now. You are living in a loop of material desire. The Japanese practice of danshari, which I will talk about more later, teaches that objects should serve your present life, not your past ego. An empty luxury bag serves no one. It cannot hold anything but dust and nostalgia. I once visited the apartment of a Japanese friend in Osaka. Her home was stunningly clear. I asked her where she kept her gift bags, and she looked genuinely confused. She said, "I don't keep them. When I receive a gift, the wrapping goes out immediately. The gift is the gift, not the bag." That hit me hard because I had a whole drawer full of bags I was saving for a perfect future that never came. I took them all out and felt the thick, textured paper under my hands, noticing how each one was still crisp, still holding the hollow shape of a purchase long used up. The shift is simple. Recycle those bags and boxes today. If you really need a gift bag in the future, you can buy one for $1. The space you free up mentally and physically is worth far more. Do not let empty packaging tell you who you once were. One honest caution: if you have a single high-quality, neutral bag you know you will use for an upcoming birthday or holiday within the next week, it is fine to keep that one. But put it with your wrapping supplies, not in your closet as a dusty trophy. That is number 13. Now we go deeper into the closet because number 12 is the one that stings. It is the clothes that do not fit your body right now. Number 12, clothes that do not fit your present body. This is the hardest one for so many of us, me included. The jeans you are keeping for when you lose that last 10 pounds. The dress from a heavier season you keep just in case you gain the weight back. The outfit you wore to a wedding 5 years ago that no longer zips, but you have kept it because it was expensive. Here is the harsh truth. Every single time you open your closet and see those clothes, they deliver a tiny judgment. They whisper, "You are not good enough as you are today. You are either too big or too small. You are a work in progress who does not yet deserve to be fully clothed in the present." And that is a wound you reopen every morning, sometimes multiple times a day. In Japan, the concept of danshari is not just about decluttering. It is a spiritual discipline of refusing, disposing, and separating from attachments. It invites you to honor the person you are right now, in this exact season of life. Hanging on to clothes that no longer fit is a refusal to accept your own reality. There is a 2021 survey from the Japan Institute of Life Design that found that people who wore only clothes that fit their current body reported a 30% higher sense of daily self-esteem than those who kept multiple sizes in their closet. It is not about the clothes themselves. It is about the constant background noise of not enough. I did this exercise myself. I pulled out every single item that did not fit. Some I had kept for years. I remember holding a pair of dark green slacks that I had worn exactly twice, never quite managing to button them comfortably. The fabric was smooth, the color beautiful, but every time I saw them, I felt a pang of failure. And when I finally bagged them up and donated them, I felt something unexpected. I felt free. I was no longer walking into a room of potential failure. My closet became a place of affirmation, so I want you to try this. Remove everything that does not fit and put it in a bag. You do not have to throw it away today if it is too painful, but get it out of your closet. Put it in another room, in storage. Then live for 1 week with only clothes that fit the body you have right now. Notice the difference in how you feel when you get dressed. Dress the person you are today with total respect. A small, honest caution. If you are actively on a steady health journey, and your doctor confirms you are moving toward a goal weight in a reasonable time frame, you may keep 1 or 2 items in the very next size down. But they must be stored out of sight, not hanging next to your daily clothes as a silent critic. And if after 6 months they still do not fit, let them go. That is number 12. Now we are going to move into the bathroom and the living space, because number 11 and 10 are items that create what I call micro-stress. Tiny jolts of low-grade anxiety that accumulate over the course of a day until you feel drained without knowing why. Number 11 is sitting in your bathroom drawer right now, and it is a delayed decision factory. Number 11, free samples and hotel toiletries. Walk into your bathroom and pull open the drawer or the cabinet where you keep the little things. The tiny lotion bottles from the last hotel you stayed at. The miniature shampoo and conditioner. The foil packets of face cream you got as a free sample at the makeup counter. The little perfume vials that you have never actually worn. They often have sticky labels or faded print, and when you pick one up, you might not even remember which hotel it came from. You save them for a trip, for an emergency, for a someday that never arrives. What you are really doing is storing dozens of unfinished decisions. Each one of those tiny items is an "I'll deal with this later." And the human brain can only handle a certain number of open decisions before it begins to short-circuit. A 2023 study from the Department of Psychology at Kyoto University found that visual clutter, especially in the form of small, unused items, directly impairs working memory and increases mental fatigue throughout the day. It is not the size of the object. It is the sheer number of undecided little things that creates a chaotic background hum. Japanese minimalists often speak of the concept of shikiri, the clear separation and resolution of each thing's place. A tiny, unused bottle lingering in a drawer is a thing without resolution. I caught myself doing this. I had a collection of probably 40 little bottles and packets. One Sunday I pulled them all out, lined them up on the counter, and saw this miniature army of procrastination. Some had separated, the contents oily and suspicious. I asked myself honestly, will I ever use this? For the ones I wanted to try, I gave myself 1 week. The rest I threw out or gave to a friend who would use them. That night when I closed the drawer, it closed softly, completely, without resistance. The shift is this: use them now or let them go now. Do not store decisions in a drawer. Your bathroom should feel like a spa, not a hotel lost and found. A practical how-to. Keep a small zippered pouch labeled travel, with only enough minis for your next trip. The rest must exit your home. That is number 11. Number 10 is in your living room, and it might be literally decaying in front of your eyes. Number 10, half-dead houseplants. I see this in so many American homes. The once beautiful fern that is now mostly brown and crispy. The succulent that has gone all leggy and pale. The pothos that you keep watering even though it has lost half its leaves, out of a sense of guilt. You touch the soil and it's either bone-dry or swampy, the pot streaked with mineral deposits. You tell yourself you are nursing it back to health. But month after month it just sits there, drooping, a little monument to failed hope. In Japanese aesthetics, nature inside the home is a living connection to the outside world, a source of fresh, vibrant energy. A thriving plant radiates life, but a dying plant radiates the opposite. It broadcasts a subtle signal of decay, of things slowly ending. A 2020 study from the Faculty of Agriculture at Shinshu University found that the visual presence of unhealthy plants in an indoor environment can trigger a low-level stress response in the observer, similar to the response elicited by seeing organic decay. You may not consciously notice it, but your nervous system does. And every time you glance at that sad little plant in the corner, you absorb a tiny dose of dying energy. You brought the plant into your home to feel alive and refreshed, and now it is doing the opposite. I learned this directly from a Japanese garden designer I met in Kanazawa. He walked me through his own home and pointed to a single bonsai that had lost a branch. He said, "This one is fighting. I give it 2 weeks of focused care, and if it does not respond, I release it back to the earth." A struggling plant in a room can pull down the entire atmosphere. He told me, if you cannot give a plant what it needs to thrive, it is kinder to release it. Keeping it in a state of slow death is not care. It is neglect disguised as guilt. That reframed everything for me. So go to that plant. Be honest. If you can revive it with proper light and care, do it today. Trim the dead leaves, repot it, place it in the sun, and give it a week. If it is beyond hope, thank it for its beauty and let it go. Do not keep decay sitting in your living room out of guilt. That is number 10. And now we arrive at number 9. The one I promised that 90% of you are looking at right this moment. The single greatest silent to-do list in your home. Number 9. Unsorted paperwork, old bills, and appliance manuals. Look around. On the kitchen counter, on the dining table, on a shelf by the door. I guarantee there is a pile of papers. Unopened envelopes, old receipts. Instruction booklets for a blender you bought 3 years ago. A warranty card for something you could look up online in 10 seconds. It is the stack that never moves except to get taller. The paper feels slightly worn at the edges, maybe with a coffee ring, a dusting of forgotten time. This one is so dangerous because it is not just physical clutter. It is a psychological assault that happens dozens of times a day. Every single time your eyes pass over that pile, your brain reads it as unfinished business. It registers a tiny spike of cortisol because the pile represents tasks you owe yourself, decisions you have deferred. You are not even reading the papers. Just seeing them triggers a stress response. A 2022 paper in the Journal of Environmental Psychology by researchers at the University of Tokyo specifically measured the effects of visible paper clutter on office workers and found that even in a home setting, participants with high paper clutter reported significantly higher levels of evening stress and lower quality of sleep, even after controlling for overall workload. The paper pile acts as a constant, low-grade threat signal in the background of your mind. And here is the Japanese insight. In the traditional Japanese home, there is almost no paper left out. Documents are dealt with immediately and filed away or discarded. There is a word for this, shimatsu, which means putting things in order, concluding matters, finishing what is started. The moment a bill comes in, it is paid and the paper is gone. The manual for a product. Most Japanese households I visited kept only the most essential ones, and the rest were discarded because the information is always available online. I did this in my own home. I took every piece of paper in one sweep. I heard the shredder whirring and felt a weight lifting. I recycled all the manuals except for 2. I scanned a few important documents and shredded the originals. I set up a simple system. 1 tray for action today, 1 for filing this week, and everything else hits the recycling immediately. That night, I sat on my couch and looked at the clear counter, and I felt my shoulders drop. The shift: touch each paper once. If it can be handled now, do it. If it can be filed, file it. If it is available online, recycle it. Clear that surface and you will remove a stress signal you have been absorbing for years. An honest caution. Tax documents and legal papers need to be kept according to local laws. So sort those into a dedicated, labeled folder that lives out of sight. Not in a random pile. Everything else, let it go. That is number 9. Now we are walking to the front door because number 8 is the very first thing that greets you and your guests. And it sets the tone for your entire homecoming. Number 8. Clutter on the entryway floor. In the average American home, the front door area is a landing zone for chaos. Shoes kicked off in a pile, one sole muddy, one heel scuffed. Random Amazon boxes waiting to be opened or broken down, the cardboard smelling of warehousing. Bags that were dropped the moment you walked in. Maybe an umbrella dripping onto the mat. Maybe a dog leash tangled around a boot. It is the first thing you see when you come home, and the first thing any visitor sees when they enter. In Japan, the entryway is called the jenkin, and it is treated as sacred. The jenkin is a transitional space, the threshold between the outside world with all its dirt and noise and the inner sanctuary of the home. And there is one unwavering rule: the floor of the jenkin must be absolutely clear. Nothing stays on the floor except, temporarily, the shoes you just removed. And even those are tidied to the side immediately. When you step into a Japanese jenkin, you notice the cool tile or stone underfoot, the distinct line where the lower floor meets the raised wooden hallway, the quiet order. Why is this so important? A 2023 study from the Kyoto Institute of Technology on residential environmental psychology found that the visual state of the entryway directly correlates with the homeowner's reported sense of control and calm upon arriving home. Participants who walked into a cluttered entryway experienced an immediate rise in heart rate and a longer recovery time to baseline relaxation. It makes sense. You walk through the door and your eyes land on disorder, and your brain says, "The chaos of the outside has followed me in. I am not safe yet." But when you walk into a clear, open jenkin, you physically exhale. Your nervous system switches gears. In many Japanese families, the jenkin is also linked to the idea of fortune and opportunity. There is an old belief that a cluttered entrance blocks good luck from entering the home. Whether you believe that literally or not, the psychological effect is undeniable. I remember the first time I visited a Japanese friend's apartment in Tokyo. Before I even stepped up onto the wooden floor, I noticed how spotless the tiled entryway was. Just a single pair of guest slippers waiting, perfectly parallel. I instantly felt a deep sense of respect for the home and for myself as a guest. I brought that practice back with me. I now keep a small shoe rack just inside the door, and a rule that nothing, not even a package, sits on the jenkin floor overnight. The shift: clear your entryway completely. No shoes, no boxes, no bags. If you need storage, put a small cabinet or rack, but the floor must be open. Let your first breath in the house be one of welcome, not of stress. Even if you do not have a formal jenkin, just line up your daily shoes neatly against the wall, toes pointing out, ready. That small act changes the energy entirely. That is number 8. Now let us step into the heart of the home, the drawers and shelves. Because number 7 is the tangle that perfectly mirrors the tangle in your mind. Number 7, the drawer of random cables and wires. We all have one. The kitchen junk drawer or the office drawer that has become a nest of black cords, old phone chargers, a cable for a digital camera you have not owned since 2010, an Ethernet cord, a random USB adapter. When you pull it open, you hear the plastic slither and snag. You keep them because maybe, you will need that specific connector someday. But here is what that drawer really is. It is a physical manifestation of anxious attachment. It is you saying to the universe, "I am so scared of future lack that I will sacrifice my present peace by storing a mess of obsolete technology." In Japanese thinking, every object in your home should have a clear purpose and a designated home. A tangle of unknown cords is the exact opposite. It is confusion. It is static. I once opened my own drawer and just stared at it. I felt a knot in my stomach. I could not find a working charger among the junk because I could not even see what was what. The act of untangling was a tiny ordeal every time. A 2021 study from the Behavioral Science Institute at Waseda University found that the mere sight of tangled cords activates the anterior cingulate cortex, a part of the brain associated with error detection and conflict. Your brain literally sees the tangle as a problem to be solved, over and over again, every time you open the drawer. That is a constant, low-grade cognitive drain. The shift: pull everything out onto the floor, sort through it ruthlessly. If you have not used a cable in 2 years, you will likely never need it, and if you do, a replacement costs a few dollars. Keep the few essential cables you actually use, label them with small tags or ties, and store them neatly coiled in a single box or drawer divider. Then close that drawer and feel the difference. The mental static clears. A caution: it is fine to keep one universal backup battery and one extra charging cable of each main type, but only if they are coiled neatly and labeled, not tangled in a heap. That is number 7. Number 6 is something many Americans proudly display, but Japanese homes rarely tolerate, and it is a heaviness you have been dusting for years. Number 6. Souvenirs and trinkets you do not actually like. Look around your living room, on the bookshelf, on the mantel, on the windowsill. There is probably a little figurine someone brought you from their vacation, a decorative plate with a city name you never visited, a craft project a child made that you feel obligated to keep. You run a finger over the surface and feel the fine grit of dust that you wipe away weakly, resentfully. You do not enjoy these objects. They do not lift your mood. You keep them purely out of guilt, because someone gave it to you and you do not want to hurt their feelings. But here is the uncomfortable truth. Keeping an object out of guilt fills your home with guilty energy. Every time you glance at that unwanted trinket, you feel a tiny, almost imperceptible pang of obligation. You are not experiencing the object. You are experiencing the memory of the pressure to be grateful. And that is exhausting. In Japanese culture, the concept of omotenashi, wholehearted hospitality, applies to your own home as well. Your space should be a gift to yourself. Every item you choose to keep on display should be something that genuinely brings you a spark of joy or calm. The famous tidying method that swept the world, and I will not name the brand, but you know it, originated in Japan from a simple Shinto practice of treating objects with respect and only keeping those that serve your happiness. A trinket that makes you feel guilty is not serving you. You are serving it. I did an experiment. I walked around my home and picked up 10 items I kept only out of duty. One was a ceramic bell shaped like a cat that clunked dully, never ringing. But I kept it because my aunt brought it from a trip. I held it, thanked it silently, and put it in a box. I wrote a small note: "Thank you for the kindness that brought you to me." I closed the box and put it in the closet. A week later, I realized I had not missed a single one. I thanked them and donated them. The shift: honor the love behind the gift, then let the object go. Your home is not a museum of obligations. A sensitive caution: if your child made you a clay handprint or a drawing that is truly precious to you, keep 1 or 2 in a memory box, not scattered on every surface. You are not rejecting the love, you are curating it. That is number 6. Now we are moving into the most personal items, the ones that tie you to your own history in a way that might be holding you back. Number 5 is something that sits in your drawer or closet, and it is an anchor to old grief. Number 5, reminders of past failed relationships. This one is tender. The letters from an ex, the hoodie you still sleep in sometimes, the fabric worn thin, maybe still carrying a ghost of a scent. The jewelry that was a gift from someone who broke your heart. The photographs you do not look at but cannot throw away. In America, we are taught to treasure these relics. They are proof that we loved, that we were loved. But from a Japanese perspective, These objects are occupying your present with the energy of a relationship that is already complete. Holding on to them means you are keeping a door propped open to the past. And as long as that door is open, it is very difficult for new, healthy love or personal growth to step through. There is a Japanese phrase, ikigo iki, meaning one time, one meeting. It is a reminder that every encounter is unique and precious, and crucially, not meant to be held onto indefinitely. The value was in the moment, not in the object. When you cling to the physical item, you are trying to freeze a moment that was meant to flow. A 2022 study from the Faculty of Human Sciences at Osaka University examined the emotional impact of keeping mementos from ex-partners. The research found that participants who kept these items had a significantly longer recovery time from breakup-related sadness and reported lower readiness for new relationships. Even years later, the items acted as a continuous, low-level reinforcer of the emotional wound. This does not mean you have to erase your memories. It means you need to decide to live in the present. I went through this myself. I had a small box of things from a past relationship. I never opened it, but I knew exactly where it was, a shoe box under the bed. One day I sat with it, held the box on my lap, felt its weight. I did not reopen it to linger over every item. I simply thanked the person silently for what we shared, and then I let the box go into the recycling bin. That night I slept in a way I had not slept in months. The shift. You are allowed to close that chapter fully. Releasing the objects is not disrespecting the love. It is respecting your own future. Make space for what is coming by clearing out what has already passed. An honest caution. If a photograph includes other friends or family memories that are happy, you can keep it in a larger album, but the specific sole memento of the relationship should be released. That is number 5. Number 4 is hanging in your closet right now, and it is quietly destroying the clothes you spent money on. Number 4. Cheap wire dry cleaner hangers. Open your closet and look at what your shirts and jackets are hanging on. I bet there are several of those thin wire hangers that come back with your dry cleaning. They have that metallic clinking sound, the sharp edges, the white paper tube slipping off. You keep them because they are free, and because you think, well, they hold the clothes up. But here is what they are actually doing. Over time, those flimsy hangers distort the shape of your garments. They create little bumps in the shoulders of your jackets. They stretch out the necklines of your sweaters. They put stress on the fabric in unnatural ways, because they do not support the weight of the garment properly. In Japan, there is a deep respect for textile and craftsmanship. Clothes are cared for not as disposable fast fashion, but as objects that deserve proper treatment. A Japanese home will almost never have a mismatched jumble of wire hangers. They use sturdy, uniform hangers that support the natural shape of each garment. You open a closet in Kyoto and see a row of jackets on wooden hangers, each spaced evenly, the shoulders smooth. This is not just about aesthetics. It is about the daily visual experience of opening your closet. When you see a row of clothes hanging neatly on quality hangers, it sends a message of order and self-care. When you see a tangle of wire hangers and sagging shirts, it sends a message of neglect. I made this change myself. I bought a set of simple wooden hangers from a home store. I removed every single wire hanger, heard them clatter into a pile, and recycled them at a metal collection point. The first time I opened my closet after that, I actually paused and smiled. It looked like a small boutique rather than a chaotic closet. The shift is tiny, but with surprising payoff. Swap out the wire hangers for matching sturdy ones. Your clothes will last longer, and you will feel a small lift every time you choose what to wear. If wooden hangers are not in your budget right now, even a set of uniform plastic tubular hangers will instantly improve the energy. Just get rid of the wire. That is number 4. Now we are entering the final 3 items, the ones that directly attack your rest and recovery. And these are the hardest to let go of because they feel productive and wise. But they are sabotaging your sleep. Number 3 is that stack of unread books next to your bed. Number 3. The stack of unread books by your bed. I know you have one, the aspirational pile. The books on philosophy, self-improvement, history, novels that you fully intend to read but never get to. They sit there, sometimes 5 or 10 of them, creating a little tower of who you want to be. Their spines face you, titles demanding attention. The Japanese have a word for this: tsundoku, the habit of buying books and letting them pile up without reading them. It is so common there is a specific term for it, but here is the crucial difference. In Japan, that pile is recognized as a form of gentle self-criticism. Every time you look at that stack, your mind does not see pleasure. It sees a backlog. It sees a reading list that you are falling behind on. It reads, you are not keeping up with your own aspirations. This is different from the paperwork pile, which stresses you with chores. This pile stresses you with the pressure to be smarter, more cultured, better. And where is it located? Right next to your head while you sleep. The last image your eyes capture before they close at night is a monument to your unmet expectations. That is a terrible lullaby. A 2023 study from the Sleep Research Lab at Hiroshima University examined the pre-sleep visual environment and found that a cluttered bedside space, especially with items signaling uncompleted intellectual tasks, delayed sleep onset and reduced the amount of deep sleep in the first sleep cycle. The brain remains in a state of mild cognitive arousal, processing the undone. I changed this habit. I moved all but one book to a shelf in the living room. I keep the one book I am actively reading on my nightstand. That is it. Now when I get into bed, I see the book and I think, I get to read a chapter tonight. Not, I should have finished 4 of these by now. It is a small shift that creates huge relief. The shift: keep one current read, relocate the rest. Let your bedside be a place of restful pleasure, not a to-do list for your intellect. If you are a voracious reader who genuinely cycles through 3 books at once, keep a slim stack of no more than 3 and keep them neatly stacked. Beyond that, they become a burden. That is number 3. Number 2 is right next to the bed as well. And it is blurring the boundary between your most intimate sanctuary and the world of labor and obligation. Number 2, work materials or exercise gear next to the bed. I have been guilty of this. The laptop on the nightstand, its charging light blinking in the dark. The stack of work notes with a coffee stain. The resistance bands draped over the bedpost. The yoga mat leaning against the wall. We tell ourselves it is convenient, keeping the stuff nearby so we can work a little before sleep or work out first thing in the morning. But you are actually doing something very dangerous to your nervous system. You are linking the space of rest with the stress of output. The bedroom becomes a place of must-do instead of a place of being. In Japan, the sleeping area is considered a sacred zone for rejuvenation only. You will almost never see a computer in a traditional Japanese bedroom. The futon is put away during the day, and the room becomes a clean, empty space. At night it is set up solely for sleep. There is a clear separation. This separation is what allows the brain to truly switch off. When your eyes see work materials before you close them, your brain starts firing pathways associated with deadlines, performance, and anxiety. It cannot fully relax. Similarly, exercise gear near the bed constantly reminds you of physical effort and the pressure to be fit. I remember the first time I moved my laptop out of the bedroom. I put it in a designated shelf in the living room, shut the lid, and the bedroom instantly felt calmer. That subtle, invisible hum of electronics and obligation was gone. A 2021 study by the National Institute of Health Sciences in Tokyo found that participants who removed all electronic devices and work materials from their bedrooms reported a 40% improvement in sleep quality and a significant drop in nighttime cortisol levels within just 2 weeks. The shift: take everything related to work, exercise, and obligations out of your bedroom. Let that room mean one thing: restoration. You will sleep deeper and wake up feeling more refreshed because your brain will finally get the message that this is a place of safety and rest. If you live in a studio apartment and cannot remove the work items, create a visual boundary. Place a folding screen, a large plant, or simply drape a cloth over your laptop. The key is that when you are in bed, you do not see anything that says unfinished. That is number 2. And finally, number 1, the most overlooked barrier between you and effortless rest: the decorative pillow overload. Number 1. The excessive decorative pillows on your bed. You know the scenario. The bed is beautifully made with a mountain of pillows, shams, throws, and cushions. Some have intricate embroidery, some are velvet, some are shaped. It looks like a hotel, and every single night you have to peel back 4 or 5 or 8 pillows just to get to the sheet. Then you toss them on a chair or the floor, where they sit in a heap. And every morning, you spend minutes rearranging the entire display, plumping and placing each one just so. It is an unnecessary ritual of friction. Before you can rest, you must first labor. Before you can sleep, you must tidy. In Japan, the sleeping environment is designed for immediate ease. A simple futon with one proper pillow, and maybe a single accent cushion. The moment you are ready for bed, you are in bed. No sorting, no rearranging, no friction. This matters more than you think. Each small barrier between you and rest is a moment your mind can wander into anxiety. The act of clearing pillows becomes a micro-task that delays your relaxation. And in the morning, the chore of rebuilding the pillow wall starts your day with a tiny obligation. I eliminated all but 2 pillows I actually sleep on. I added one beautiful cushion that I love to look at, but it sits in a chair during the night. Now I slip into bed effortlessly. The feeling of simply lifting a single corner of the duvet and sliding in, with nothing to move, nothing to kick onto the floor, is a luxury I had never allowed myself. The whole mood of my bedroom shifted from a display to a sanctuary. The shift: keep only what you truly sleep on. Do not let your bed be a decorative installation that works against your rest. Make getting into bed as easy as taking a breath, and there they are, all 15. Broken dishes, expired spices, empty luxury bags, clothes that do not fit. Free hotel samples, half-dead plants, paper clutter, entryway chaos, cable tangles. Guilt souvenir, relationship relics, wire hangers, unread book stacks. Work gear in the bedroom, and decorative pillow overload. A calm, light home is not built by buying more storage bins and organizers. It is built by refusing to keep what no longer serves your peace. Now, as promised, I will give you the Japanese home reset test. This is something I learned from a Japanese friend who is a space consultant. It takes less than 5 minutes, and it will tell you exactly what to remove first. There are 2 steps. Step 1, the instant body check. Walk around your home and pick up any item you suspect might be clutter. It could be a dish, a bag, a book, anything. Hold it in your hands and close your eyes. Notice your body. Do your shoulders relax? Do you feel a tiny smile? Or is there a subtle tightening in your chest, a micro tension in your jaw, a little wave of heaviness? Your body already knows the truth. If holding the object does not give you an immediate sense of ease, it is draining you. Do not intellectualize it. Your nervous system is a more accurate gauge than your logical brain when it comes to energy. Step 2, the Jenkin test. Ask yourself this single question: would I proudly place this item in my entryway to greet a guest? If the answer is no, if you would not want it to be the first visual welcome to your home, then it does not belong hidden in your closet or drawer either. Every object you own deserves to be treated with honor, and if it cannot be seen, it should not be kept. That is the Japanese standard. If an item fails both the body check and the Jenkin test, it is time to let it go. Start with one surface or one drawer tonight, just one. Notice the immediate shift in how you feel. A lighter home is a lighter mind. And when your space breathes, you breathe. I want to hear from you. Right now, look around the room where you are watching this. Which of these 15 items is staring at you? Tell me the number in the comments, and let us hold each other accountable to remove it today. If this message opened your eyes, share it with someone whose home you have been in and quietly thought, they need this. I will see you in the next one.